Welcome as well. Welcome my press. What can be done? In the area now, we want to walk. Johnny Rana, but for the sake of the online, let me start to English. Why do we celebrate World Book Day? In 1995,
UNESCO, being the United Nations Educational Student Cultural Organization, decided that the World Book and Copyright Day will be celebrated on 23rd April. The date is also the anniversary of the death of William Shakespeare and Inca Garcilaso de la Vega, as well as the birth or death of several other prominent authors. That is what made today's event special. And the theme for the 2025 edition of the World Book Day is Read Your Way. The target is for us to make the Iwhuruohna populace read, and for the world to read about Iwhuruohna. Because if you read about Iwhuruohna, about the Ikwerre nation, you will say that Ikwerre is a sub of Igbo. Over there in the East, as an adjunct lecturer, I argue with my seniors, my professors, why will you say that Ikwerre is a tribe of Igbo? In Nigeria, we have over 250 tribes, and Ikwerre is there in the Gazette as a distinct tribe. In the languages of Nigeria recognized, we have over 521. Ikwerre is about 100 and something in the list. So can a language be a sub of another language, my people? Can a language be a sub of another language? And so distinguished guests, esteemed authors that are here present, and book lovers, I welcome you to the Ikwerre Book Fair. Today we celebrate the power of literature and learning. The significance of the book fair event is to showcase Ikwerre culture, 1, promote literacy, 2, and foster a love for reading. It will be a platform for authors, publishers, and readers to connect, share ideas, and inspire one another. The committee thanks our sponsors, authors, publishers, and partners for making this event possible today. Their contributions will enrich our literary landscape. We give special thanks to the host, which is the Ikwerre Development Association, IDA, and our parent body, the Ikwerre Cultural Organization worldwide, for giving us the opportunity to serve as the pioneer team for the annual to action. Let us continue promoting Ikwerre literature, supporting local authors, and nurturing a culture of reading. We call for the sustainability of this gesture and a collaboration with Living Ikwerre Language School and other study centers to make this an annual event. Why? This will enable teaching and learning Iwhuruohna language and culture. By using our works as displays and others to come, and also urge the IDA, being the sponsor of this event, to enable this committee to publish the vetted manuscripts of some passionate authors who have written on Iwhuruohna subjects but lack the funds to bring to light their inspirations. Some submitted their manuscripts. So let this day spur our guests as we go for book inspection to make partly donations that will help publish books of authors whose manuscripts are ready and authors who are already dead but their works remains that of evergreen. We welcome you to enjoy the exhibitions, the readings and the discussions. Let literature thrive. This is a step to preserving Iwhuruohna literary works, to outlive us. Thank you. And Mika, Dr. Iwhuruohna Stilago, Committee Chairman, Ikwerre Book Day. Kalamika. But I hand over to our occasion to continue with the proceedings to make his opening remarks. Ankwasina Kabiko.
And we like using the lectern.
Very wonderful tool. It is Ambika. The President General of Ikwerre, His Royal Majesty SHG Iwhuruohna PhD. SHG Iwhuruohna Cho Ikwerre K start of Jekuleme. Sobio J.W. Amade Owo here came up Amanema. Eze Jibo Thomas, Eze Iwhuruohna Lemano, Professor Hilary Wadu, my boss, all the past presidents of Ikwerre Development Association, particularly my Oga, Honorable Oliver, I greet you, sir. Dr. C.D. Chukwu, the current president of Ikwerre Development Association, thank you for this wonderful day. Gentlemen of the press, let me not forget my friend, Dr. Kenya, as I look inside. Ladies and gentlemen, today is a very special day in the history of Ikwerre, particularly Ikwerre Development Association, who happen to be the organizer of this event. The World Book Day is a global celebration of books and reading. Observed on April 23 each year. Every 23rd April, the world celebrates the Book Day. That's exactly what we are doing today. World Book Day is celebrated to promote literacy and love of reading, particularly among children and youth. It's a day to celebrate the power of books, encourage reading, and recognize the importance of access to literature. The day also aims to raise awareness about copyright and the vital role of authors and publishers. Books are vital vehicles to access, transmit, and promote education, science, and culture. It recognizes, promotes, and highlights the importance of books and copyright. The World Book Day, also known as World Book Copyright Day or International Day of Books, is an annual event organized by the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, to promote reading, publishing, and copyright. The first World Day was celebrated on 23rd April 1995 and continues to be recognized on that day. That is why we're here on 23rd April 2025. On the occasion of the World Day, UNESCO and advisory committees from the major sectors of the book industry select World Book Capital for each year. Each designated book capital carries out activities and celebrates and promotes books and reading. 6 years after the commencement of the World Book Day, Madrid was selected as the first World Book Capital in 2001 to create year-round celebrations around the event. Other cities designated a UNESCO World Book Day, World Book Capital are Alexandria, New Delhi. This continues until in 2014, Port Harcourt was elected the World Book Capital. That was a very significant occasion. That was a very significant achievement, and that's what is carrying us on today. The Port Harcourt World Book Day has its theme as books, windows to our world of possibilities. Windows to our world of possibilities. It means that in books we have possibilities. In books we have development. In books we have intellect. In books we have everything that can be counted as good. Port Harcourt was the first city in the sub-Saharan Africa to win this title. This is again remarkable. I think we should have a big clap for that. Besides the main thing, other main objectives of the Port Harcourt World Book Capital of 2014 were promoting Nigerian and African literature, fostering a reading of culture amongst children and youth, and improving literacy rates. Somebody told me some time ago that if you want to hide any information from a Nigerian, put it between a book. It will remain there forever. We don't read. And because we don't read, so many things are happening which we do not know. So today, I want to encourage us to read. And so the theme of 2025 Iwhuruohna Book Fair is Read Your Way. This is the same thing as the theme of the World Book Day world over. And I mentioned that the World Book capital this year is Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. And the theme is Read Your Way. The same thing we are using. Most of the literature we have in Ikwerre, I'm sure, must be written in Ikwerre language, or they should talk about Ikwerre history. So our young ones should be able to be abreast of that. 3, to enlighten Iwhuruohna people to read, write, and preserve Ikwerre literary works. 4, to recognize, promote, and highlight the importance of Iwhuruohna books. And finally, to promote the culture of Iwhuruohna. I want to thank everyone for coming to participate in this all-important event. I wish you a very beautiful celebration. On behalf of the Ikwerre Development Association, the organizers of this fair, I hereby declare the 2025 Iwhuruohna Book Fair open to the glade of God.
Wonderful one. I want to welcome Professor N.S. Wanda, Chairman of Ikwerre National University, and his team. The Secretary General of Ikwerre Worldwide, Barrister Yabuchi Phillips. So, President of Ikwerre Development Association, the person of our brother, Pastor, Obi, and Damati. I was the national president of National Association of Presidents Worldwide. From the National Secretariat, there are Luther Joint Forces, all that person of the senior program. At this point, ask Kubaya the Iwhuruohna International Filmmakers Association. The keynote speaker. Iwhuruohna International Filmmakers Association that will give us playlets. These are people who have been producing movies in the Ikwerre language. By a guy, all the Mahamo, I'm ask all the person of the guy, and the guy. It's one of the because when they require, I don't know when I speaker, the guest lecturer. And they can get it. Go back to one person back.
Masalah kan dari DBL dia pun eliki belum ada. Nah ya bisa nasak mau kan. Mili halako agani. Mili halako agani. I just don't know what I every time I need. Na sasa. Ni no ne. O ka lu ke wo. Mili. Bukule na kan ma ni ni no be yewo.
Oboka ke hichoro okugome come on oba mebe weni yahi ndake bu qualification obunu o shirike council kini o shirike ho belia koda hu ke wasisi bu basire na zan obula ho koshi no no wale ise no pupo o ma ha we of faith definitely abala nezokuzila hine okwu ezokuzi no kai ha mi aka gabo island ke nwele o abekoshiri no ne mai ma ba ma ya no aka wasi na ele ai ma me odunga ya but no na hikuru
Benana, from where the desert, the top. They say, for your good, I'm not quite young. For your good, I'm not
Isho ka ina agba iwa no ogun akwukwo akunbo akwukwo mekpe hezila no na hikuru so obu ha ya eme ma bogoro ọnọdụ ngwuru nyega ma ọgwụ ya bụ akwụkwọ as a grassroots man modular Iwhuruohna maka masị no rumundam kanu babugo rumu bagoro na-echilabaru hu akwụkwọ se obekwa ha bụ baka no be na-eme book fem akere baka mo no kwonkwota no Mezihem mo punu akwụkwọ pụkọm akwụkwọ pụkwọta nkari du ọrụ n'ọgụ ọhụrụ kọ ha ya emeso watakịrị ya si n'osuku mre hwa mo hụ kọ ha ya emeso nwa bịara abịa ya si n'osuku lere ha osuku mịa na asa mo hụ n'ọkwọ na ọzichezi nnu na ihe kwuru mo pio we do hem meza mozekom zo punu akwụkwọ ha ka bụ ọma na eli aikụ Chineke ikwe ha ọjọọ
And I want to plead with all of us here, please try to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Iwhuruohna Films TV. Subscribe, comment, like, and help us to share so that it will get to our brothers and sisters out there. Please, thank you.
Oh yeah. Beka. Adaba.
biko ụmụnne anyị ndị na Igbo ke na-elekiri ihe ka baka anụ agbalịga n'ọsọ ga bla n'ọnụ gbanwega kpọmasarịma asụkwu wenai Dr. Barrister Okechukwu ya bịa citation of the guest speaker, the keynote speaker, when I have all lawyer, PhD in law, or the back and I yet go kuna ka hobo meka.
Ikwerre mekao, eleri asagriri, and where citation Professor Anthony Adele Olo. Education at Municipal Council School, Orobum in Port Harcourt, now State School 2, Orobum, and Secondary School at Anitona High School, Borokiri, Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Tertiary education. Professor Anthony obtained the Nigerian Certificate in Education from the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, in English Geography. His quest for higher education took him to the University of Lagos, Akoka, where he obtained the BA Hons English and MA English with specialization in literary studies. Professor Olo obtained the PhD degree in English at the University of Uyo, Nigeria, with emphasis on literature. Please, for Professor Anthony Olo belongs to so many learned societal associations. I'll just be selective. One of which he belongs is English Scholars Association of Nigeria. He also belongs to Museologists Association of Nigeria, and you can have the rest here for time's sake. Professor Olo has published in both local and international journals and edited books. All right. So, if you want the full details of Professor Anthony Olo, please, you may have to acquire this book. Thank you very much. I'm Mekao.
The very first professor of environmental literature. I had the privilege to have him. We are privileged to have our very own professor of environmental literature to speak to the world on this occasion of Iwhuruohna Book Fair. Welcome, sir. Akwasina Akabiko. Biko na abia atuge welcome Iwhuruohna Paul Wanodi. Paul Wanodi, Dr. Mrs. Christy Chukwu Martin, Comrade Wali Promise, Student President, Kalam Maker.
Ndewe man mekao. Ndeze zipanu mekao. Eleri ya mma biko mzere meji kwonu Iwhuruohna. But back and no one on this online. So megodi kwonu beke and biko. Mborobo Sukuru ma, when they called me to come and do this, I was happy. Maka no songs mahabere, if not for any other thing, let me do this contribution. So I thank all of you for inviting me. I had to take a topic which I felt would give us an insight. First and foremost, I took that topic so that we could go through the world of literature together. Literature has a world of its own. Writing has a world of its own. And so I want to take us around that world of literature to be able to know how we begin to write. If you read, then you must write. So I took a topic, and that topic is titled A Literary Perspective of Ikwerre Cultural Renaissance in the 21st Century. A Literary Perspective of Ikwerre Cultural Renaissance in the 21st Century. The first thing I did for introduction, I asked myself, what is Renaissance? What does it mean when we say Renaissance? And we are talking about a rebirth. Simply put, Renaissance means rebirth. Then what are we giving birth to in this case? Then I went to the Greeks to find out what happened during a period in classical history. Then I go to that cosmology, that environment, and I talked about their literature. I talked about Homer. I thought of Aeschylus. I thought of Euripides. I thought of Sophocles. And I came back to Rome. I looked at Horace. Yes. I looked at Horace, and I looked at Ovid. I read some poems of Virgil, and I was able to put these things together. That was the origin of literature. The kind of literature we have today did not start in Nigeria. It started among the Greeks. But something happened in history. When the classical world collapsed, the Anglo-Saxons took over. And during that process they took over, during the Middle Ages, or what they call the medieval age, this kind of literature was not allowed to flourish. What we had at the time of the Middle Age was church literature, church history. And so the kind of literature that we have today died. Many people were not talking about tragedy and all that at that time, until the Renaissance. And the Renaissance started in Italy in the 14th century. Then it got to England in the 16th century, under the reign of Queen Elizabeth I. And it spanned through the period of the Jacobians, when King James was king after the death of Queen Elizabeth I. King James took over. And so there was a rebirth of ancient learning at that time. And this was the time that Shakespeare wrote. Shakespeare wrote about this time during the Renaissance period in England. We had other writers. We had the man they call Marlowe. Christopher Marlowe wrote at this time. We had Webster, John Webster. All of them wrote within this period in drama. Then in poetry, in prose, you have John Bunyan, you have Richardson, and many of those people that wrote at that time. That was the beginning of the Renaissance. So what is the meaning of Renaissance now? It's a kind of rebirth that will usher you into more writing. When you have a rebirth, it's like what the Christians will call born again. When you are born again, you begin to do exploits for the Lord. You don't become born again and remain in your bedroom. You get born again and you begin to go out to minister for Christ. That is the same thing you have about Renaissance. When it is that period, you are prepared now to usher in yourself into writing. So literature continued. Now the second time we had Renaissance in literary history was in America in 1920. 1920, 1930. We had the Harlem Renaissance. And it was for the African Americans to begin to discover themselves again, to know their root, to know how they came, and to begin to question the authority of the whites. And it followed like that. That African Americans began to question. We have writers like Langston Hughes. We have a writer like Claude McKay. These were strong writers in this age in America. And so we have seen that literature has evolved out of the need for people to get a new idea about writing. It has happened in England. It has also happened in America, as I have explained. Now, I am talking about Ikwerre literary renaissance. Does Ikwerre have any literature before this period? Have we been writing before this period? The answer is yes. There has been literary works before this period, and I'll call your attention to them. The first literary work that was of substance, very strong, was a paper that our brother wrote. Our brother, Dr. Biwali, of blessed memory, University of Kampala, Uganda, in 1963. He presented a paper. And that paper, the title was The Dead End of African Literature. The Dead End of African Literature. It was Obi, Dr. Biwali, that presented that paper in 1963 in Kampala, Uganda. The title of that paper gave me an insight. He said, The Dead End of African Literature. Because he's an Ikwerre man, I will say the dead end of Ikwerre literature. And I looked at what is dead end? Dead end. He said the best way to write Ikwerre literature for him is to write in the local language. That's the assumption that our brother gave us in 1963. He said, if you want to write literature, write it in the local language. Because if you do translation or you do transliteration, you are removing something from the original. No matter how strong you are in doing translation, no matter how strong you are in doing transliteration, you must remove something from the original. And so the best way for Dr. Biwali at that time was for writers to write in their very local languages. And I know that he was able to win the mind of Ngugi wa Thiong'o. Ngugi wa Thiong'o was James Ngugi. But because of this paper, sometimes, this awareness, he changed his name from James Ngugi to Ngugi wa Thiong'o. And then he began to write in Kukiyi, began to write in Swahili. It was after a while that his works were now translated back to English. Otherwise, many of the things he wrote in Swahili. He wrote in Kukiyi. Is it breaking? So that was That was exactly what the nature of what our brother, Dr. Biwadi, gave to us. He looked at the language. And he said that no language is inferior to another language. And I want to make it very clear. Ikwerre language is not inferior to any language. Ikwerre language is not a dialect of any language. Ikwerre language is a full and complete language that can be used in literary studies. I want to make that clear. Oh my God. So when you begin to say, Ikwerre people, you want to annex them, you want to make them your brother, the language is the same. No, language is not the same. You are speaking your language and we are speaking the Ikwerre language. Ikwerre language is not a part of any language. I want to make that clear. So whoever is interested in annexing Ikwerre language, yes, my name is Anthony. Does that mean I'm a white man? I am not a white man. So if my name is Babatunde, am I a Yoruba man? No. So there is nothing in a name because my name resembles the name in your village. Then you think that I must answer your name or I'm from your place. I am not from your place. Ikwerre is a distinct ethnic group and it has to stand like that. I want to call our attention to what our second brother did. Our first brother looked at language. Our second brother did not look at language. He went beyond a little. And that our brother was Chief Okobule Wonode of blessed memory. He wrote some poems. In fact, one particular poem he wrote, and I am very enthralled by that poem he wrote. He wrote that poem to celebrate the Ikwerre woman, the beauty of Ikwerre woman, and then the talking drum. The title of that poem is Native. Native is a poem written by our late Chief Okobule Wanode. And it is a way of making us get into Ikwerre literary renaissance. We have something we can hold on to. That poem is about the beauty of the Ikwerre woman, of the African woman by extension. That poem he wrote to celebrate one Eunice Akaniwo. I think I don't know whether he finally married Eunice Akaniwo, but I think they had something in common at that time. And then he wrote that poem to celebrate her. And it became a symbol of the beauty of the Ikwerre woman and the traditional and cultural aspect of the Ikwerre life. He used the talking drum and the wriggling of waist. That lady was dancing and was shaking the usual Ikwerre women the way they wriggle the waist. And then he looked at it and it was falling in line with the rhythm of the talking drum. He wrote that poem to celebrate that woman. Now, the other person I must want you to know is our brother also, Elechi Amadi of blessed memory. I want to say that one was so prolific. He wrote many poems. He wrote many novels. And he wrote some plays. I want to read some of the works he wrote. He wrote The Concubine. He wrote The Slave. He wrote The Great Ponds. He wrote Sunset in Biafra. He wrote Isibure Ekperi. He wrote Woman of Calabar. And he wrote Estrangement. These are some of the novels and some of the poems and plays he wrote. I'm talking of Elechi Amadi, our brother. But I want to pick on one of the novels, The Concubine, to discuss Ikwerre metaphysics. Ikwerre metaphysics. I am looking at, he used the symbol of the sea king something they call the Owumini thing, and many people have that in their homes. He tried to portray, to paint the picture that there are a hierarchy of gods, a pantheon of gods in Ikwerre land. You have the personal chi, you have the compound chi, you have the village chi, then you have the chi of the Almighty Chi. That was the portrayal that our brother gave. That's the Ikwerre metaphysics. So those of us who really want to get into literature, and then you want to look at Ikwerre metaphysics, you have something to hold on to. The concubine is there for you. So these our brothers have done a lot in the area of sensitizing all of us, trying to leave something behind. And that's the beginning of Ikwerre literary renaissance. We have a platform, and that platform is already established for us. We have a platform. Our brother Dr. Biwali gave us the first. Our brother Okobule Wonodi gave us the second. And then our brother Ilechama, they concluded it and gave us the third. I want to sum up about this very one. Obiwali gave us the use of language in writing. Okobule gave us the portrayal of the Ikwerre landscape and the Ikwerre woman, the beautiful Ikwerre woman. In fact, what he was saying was that the Ikwerre woman, no matter how you find her, she's ever beautiful. I thought the women would clap for me. I thought the women would clap. Because he's trying to eulogize you, make you what you are. Usually people don't know who they are until you tell them. And I'm happy I've told you today that the Ikwerre women are beautiful. Then our third brother gave us the what I call Ikwerre metaphysics, looking back into the spiritual life of the Ikwerre man. The Ikwerre man is not without spiritual life. He has spirit. He is part of the natural process of life. He didn't buy it from any ethnic group. That is the way he is. That's the way he is made. So whoever is trying to think that we must think in their own way, that person is not getting it right. We have our own way, which we came with. The Ikwerre man came with it. And so we want to tell them that this is what it is. Now, I want to get back to talk about the theme of this year's book fair. The theme is read your way. Read your way. And it's a very beautiful theme. Read your way. But I ask myself, why do we read? You are told to read your way. What is the meaning? What is the reason that you must read? We have two reasons why we must read. As you read your way, you have two things in your mind. The first is that you read to get yourself entertained. Reading brings in entertainment. When you read a well-crafted literary work, when you read a well-written literary work, looking at the symbols and the embellishments that are made, you will be entertained. You will be happy. So literature will make you happy if you know how to read your literature. Any work of literature is a collection of entertaining factors. You have the embellishments in language. You have the use of figures of sound and figures of speech. And they all come together. The images and all that, they come together to project and promote literary works. If you don't have that in what you are writing, then you are not writing literature. The second reason why we must read is because reading and literature will educate you. We don't read for nothing. If you read literature, you must learn something from the text you have read. So two major things why we must read. So before you read your way through, please bear in mind that you stand to have two things. You are educated through what you read or by what you read, and then you are entertained by what you also read. So a literary work will create the basis to educate the reader and also entertain the reader. But as you read, if you keep reading and you don't write, then the process of literature will go. If you are always reading what people have written and you don't try to, everybody is just reading, then how do we write? How do we get get back in order to also allow the new generation to have something to read? So when we read, we also try to write. And that is what I want to inform people, that you don't only read. As you read, you are informed, you are entertained, you are educated by what you read. Then make sure you are also going to do your own writing. For that reason, if you can do your writing, the Renaissance, Ikwerre literary Renaissance, will go on in the 21st century. Now, how do we write literature? How do you write it? Is it anything that is written down that is literature? The answer is no. Literature has a format. You cannot just come and pencil down anything. Some people will write some funny things and they bring to me, I have written a poem. I will look at it and I will laugh because you have not written a poem. So by writing, you will have to write, if you are writing a literary work, you have to write having in mind that literature is purely imaginative. It's an imaginative art. What does that mean? It means that it takes from realism and adds to fiction. The writer tries to envision a society. He looks at, he can turn this bottle. That's the reality. That's a real thing. Then he's trying to add his fiction to it. And then he gets literature. And this is why literature is imaginative. If you write like the historian, come and tell the story with dates, you are not writing literature. You are not writing literature. And then the second thing you will do if you are writing, you will have a storyline. Literature must tell a story. Whether you are writing poetry, you are writing prose, or you are writing drama, there has to be a message, a story you are engrossed in. You want to send that story, you want to take it to everybody to read. Then number three, you must create characters. There could be living characters, there could be dead, there could be plants, there could be animals, there could be anything. But they are characters. That work you are writing must have a location, what we call a milieu. Literature must enable you, look for what you are doing, and then you know exactly the society you are talking about. Because you are an Ikwerre writer, we expect you to talk about the Ikwerre society. I will soon finish. Now, as Ikwerre writers, I want to commend all those that have written. As Ikwerre writers, what do we expect in the 21st century? I want to encourage, I watched this little piece of drama here, and I got something from it. Go to school. Go to school. Before you can catch it big, you have to be educated. The parents and our guardians should be able to know that the proper way of getting it there is by education. There is something parents do, especially Ikwerre parents, and I don't like that sometimes. You want to tell your ward what to study. If he goes to the university and does not study law, he does not study medicine, he does not study engineering, no, he never goes to school. No, 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 no. No. There could be other ways in other places. You don't limit these children. You are not in their brain. Don't limit them. Give them the canvas, the freedom. If they want to study literary studies, and that's why I'm standing here before you. That's why I'm qualified to stand here, and you have allowed me. If I had studied maybe one other thing for this occasion, and no, you wouldn't have invited me. You know, so allow them, give them the canvas. Let them be free to take what they can do in school. What is important is for you to help to get him the first degree, get the second degree, get the third degree, then he has made it. If you let him only after NCE and he goes to look for work, he has finished. He has not finished. He's just beginning. And that's what many parents do. When they, after NCE, you ask them, my son don't finish. He has finished. He has not started. So encourage him, take the first degree, and that's what I want Ikwerre writers, all of us together in this 21st century. We should be educated. We should be educated. We should be able to be educated. And our parents should not decide for us what to study. They should only guide us. They should lead us, but not to dictate to us. This is the point I am making. Apart from education, these young people should be given some grants. In the 21st century, associations and bodies like this should be able to give grants to young people who are in school. Get them educated. Sometimes the family may not be strong enough to give all the assistance. So other people within the system can also come up to say, I am giving this for this child to be this. I am giving this for this child. Their scholarships can also be granted to very good ones. I don't know how it is done, but I know that is very important. Now, the point I want to finally end up with is to let you know that if you write a story, that doesn't make you a literary person. Anybody can write a story. So for you to be a literary person, you have to know how to do literary analysis. And that is by going to school and acquiring the degree in literature. All those who stand out to write stories around, we acknowledge what they have written and what they write. But we want to inform them that that does not make them literary people. You can only be a literary person when you have acquired a degree in literature. So we can encourage our people who are writing, they should also try and get back and get these degrees if they don't have any now. Finally, please, I want to say that who is qualified to write Ikwerre literature? Who is the person that is qualified? Nobody should tell the Ikwerre story better than the Ikwerre people. I thought you would acknowledge me. Nobody should tell, in fact, my story should not be told by another person. So it is only the Ikwerre man, the Ikwerre woman, that can authentically write Ikwerre story. Knowing the history of the Ikwerre people, knowing the background of the Ikwerre people, and writing about them. It is not a man from anywhere, because you may not get the nuances of what is going on in the Ikwerre land. So we cannot, anybody who is a pretender that is trying to tell the Ikwerre people the way they are, and he's not an Ikwerre man, is not telling the truth. An authentic Ikwerre literature should be written by an Ikwerre person. I want to extend that to the history of the Ikwerre people. Anybody that is not an Ikwerre person, that is giving us, in fact, we have, sometimes we can have first class Ikwerre and second class Ikwerre, I don't know. But I think Ikwerre people. Anybody that is telling the history of Ikwerre man and is not an Ikwerre person, the history he's given is wrong. He cannot, nobody can tell your story other than yourself. And I want to end off finally by saying that Ikwerre is not a subgroup of anybody. Ikwerre people is not an ethnic group that is sub to another ethnic group. We are not part of any ethnic group. We are Ikwerre people. Thank you very much.
Okukwelemoka, you cannot write our own story. You cannot tell our own story if you are not from Ikwerre. And you cannot subject us to our own tribe. Ikwerre is a distinct tribe and is not a tribe under any other tribe. On that note, we want to welcome the following persons for a 10 minutes panel discussion. Please, the only 3 names were approved by the leadership. I want to call on the chairman, Iwhuruohna Journalist Forum, Prince Honorable Mike Chiboso Iwezo. Then I also want to welcome Dr. Gladys Choma, also an author. I want to welcome the 3rd person, but for the sake of gender balance, please you come and take a seat. The next person will dedicate where belong. For gender balance, we have to pick a youth, Iwhuruohna, a writer, Akwasinaka. The topic is promoting Ikwerre literature and culture based on Wemegambara. What role do you think Ikwerre writers have been doing? What we have been doing was enough? Which way forward? What is that?
Well, ndị kwukwara ọka papụgara n'ikwonugbeke mama azụkọrọ ikwonugbeke sọbụ anwere ihe bikporo a n'Ikwere. Really, I introduce book and I was a panelist. I will come at long high lemanya. So maybe Abahana back to Ikwonugbeke. Well, our main duty here is to tell the public the role the Ikwerre authors have done or played within this period. Like others have said, book or reading book is inevitable. Going to school is inevitable. Well, from what I have read, we the Ikwerres did not embrace education quite early, or it did not come to us quite early. But somehow we got into it. Unfortunately, those that want to continue to control us, who had early education, started writing about us and started giving information, of course, false information about us. And that is what maybe have given us some handicap. Like my brother, the guest speaker said, He said, when you write or even tell story about other people, that it can be the real story and it's not complete until the owners of the land, the owners of the story, tell the story by themselves. But that will not stop. That cannot stop because we are not writing. Others will not write. We have very mischievous people. And because maybe Iwhuruohna don't realize it, or our people are not realizing it, that where we are, the land where we are, is a land that everybody desires to own. But unfortunately, not everybody owns the air. Not everybody is coming from the Ikwerre land. Ikwerre land is a blessed place. Very blessed. Chineke goes the Eleka from the 4 local government of Ikwerre. That others want to inherit, they want to be part of it. And because they want this land to be part of what they are. And they begin to paint all manners of pictures. And one thing again, we are accommodative. We welcome everybody. Even if where our land is an enviable land, we welcome everybody. We have a clean mind. We give them 1 inch, they take 3 inches. After taking 3, they are writing our history for us. All in the bid to make us part of them. Well, I want to thank those of them who are writing or who have started writing about Ikwerre. I thank my brother, Dr. Enyi. At the heat of the nonsense of Mbata, all of us, particularly the Iwhuruohna journalists, we were in the net. There is nothing we did not tell Mbata. And I thank God that Mbata cannot stand up anywhere today to talk that he's an Ikwerre man or Ikwerre is from what we told him. I thank Enyi, like it was like a miracle. During the Mbata nonsense, Enyi came up with a book, which was selling like wildfire then. Enyi, good, Baker. Enyi came up with his book, and it was timely. And we were preaching these words. And I thank every Ikwerre person that stood firm. We had a lot of things then. My name today is Iwhuruohna, and I'm glad with it that I was able to stand out then to say, Mbata, we now know who you are. So we will continue to do. Don't be tired. The encouragement is the problem. Our problem is to be encouraged. Anybody that's doing anything anywhere, the Obak Ikwerre should be able to encourage the person. Let's look at the person and encourage the person. We hear people too must come out from this their attitude. Or Ikwerre, that's the game. Or Ikwerre, we should erase it. We are able to do everything. And also, you'll be able, your book or whatever thing you have said, you'll be able to interpret. Today we'll have the World Wide Web. So if you can't print it in the printing matter, put it in the web. Everybody will see it. When we were firing Mbata, people from America, people from Britain, all over, were commending us. They were hearing it. They were reading to say, here we are. A true Iwhuruohna son is angry with what Mbata did when he did it. Thank God. That awesome, brother. Karama maker.
Okay, for the kids you speak as mothers, what role do we play to make sure our children speak the language? Chairman have taken the angle of journalists. So as mothers, that only came my mind no we want to no that's not no kubeke.
And where mo then yama well, before I said anything, it's unfortunate that I knew very well that what we're doing here today is a Ikwerre event, but we're using English language to speak. Then what are we talking about? Ikwerre culture, Ikwerre tradition. how to speak in Ikwerre language, write and read. But yet we are talking, every language today we are speaking, I'm hearing them all in English language. Why? We should have used Ikwerre language to talk. At home, mothers, please, let's teach our children how to speak our dialects. We learned it in school. It's only the ones in scheme of work that we work with. Not all languages, not all tribes, just the ones written in scheme. Let's use Ikwerre language to talk to our children. Speak to them, go and give me water, give me cup, bring food, go this, go that. Use Ikwerre language to talk to our children, because in English language is still what they are using in school. So we should promote Ikwerre language by our mothers, our home. We should try as much as possible, because it is written that education begins at home. Thank you.
Education begins at home. Abido no no kunuru mai. Kan we why hames atu gaga gbeke no. There's na liboke leki guy. Eka we am an NTA man very well add no ku Ikwerre pam pam. As Chibo representing the youth of Iwhuruohna, just like they approved. Because you see, you're supposed to collect here, why a lot of about 10 of you are supposed to come, but leadership cut it down. Da, Iwhuruohna came. Governor, you're doomed to go. Azaran Wabuke, you're doomed to go so Gen Z. We're about Naka, Ibem. That's a normal Iwhuruohna came. Ma, I know on Ikwerre, no, and then when you came in, all call you wrong, and we could remark that be memo when I bought on Ikwerre.
You know, I'm make out. Illegals on I'm make out. In your surgery. Very quickly. When I'm a youth, because personally, fully millimeter feasibility, or that no room you know, I interest. Visiting different schools. No Rumi Ikwerre, no Kamave, the importance of Ayanabo youth, Rumi Ikwerre, Rumi Okorobia, is not Iwhuruohna, no Zoni Iwhuruohna, the Violu. Ogzo myself as an example, Ovuchi, that's Loponi Iwhuruohna, 5 years, 10 years ago. Ogen Dashome Hebasri Iwhuruohna, man novel, Potozinoka. Nous se sommes fait zite ko wonwuru senele rumolumini so fa hoya. I want to commend idea no back Ikwerre no this opportunity no he can no make today is part of the sensitization. It's part of it. So garuno ya chemuche nere lenka no mo bokupo no ni Iwhuruohna. Okuko ya so ba no ba kele okeyin obukeromia oro ma so dash no mu oni Iwhuruohna. No whole local as it no school by schools. Sukurumi Iwhuruohna manumaro materi as make competition. Ne winning as on guy 50,000 just to motivate the youth. No may help us Iwhuruohna. Ele so gwere Iwhuruohna. You so quoting Iwhuruohna without adding an English word. No whole local. So when ba ma he say ele winning and the 50,000 to motivate them. Okukwa yamba for okukworu mu ayi so mu nga ha kushi oil palm oil no ni Iwhuruohna otiti vema nege gboka wa vina vu jay-z I na make call jay-z I na old fashion nga wa meka ele ni osagri owo obako Iwhuruohna nsin neni ya we be kwa ya ameka nka no kia bo menali Iwhuruohna neni ya be kusha ameka neni ya be kusha anwuru mo mo sagri obukoya Asodashi evil youths who school or when I go to carry for on beke for no aye. Ele beke so na makwe so kwa ni Iwhuruohna. Ana kevuzo on beke nurishi. On beke raman or so. Engala ma meka o. So I'm become animal youths. And so share no mark your culture is your pride. You show no kwa katani Iwhuruohna be some because ele no me avelenda or vele no we try. So I know my youth, I never know about Eglia. Equa Naba, so she will get about 2 months ago. One of us boom, never make a summer, never let my picture, never so boom. No kind of a back molo, Musa makarolo hebe mi. Ngala ma meka. Rumi koro Iwhuruohna ameka. Anu so eleke so ba eleke su sese. Ambe man koso na ai kuru mo Iwhuruohna ya ko hanon.
Owe time. Dr. Gladys Chama Yakanai, you will not know Honorable Okonoko, Omume Okonoko, Omume Ojinji, no under Kibere, Omena ni Lalam, Kekako, Ibabu, and Deriazi, Deria, Iwhuruohna. Tam only came my Romai, Nayai, and Dera, Jaira Iwhuruohna, Vika.
Ele manu weru mo awele we am kan zubodo eleri osagiri rehambo Chioma Ikwerre kwa Chioma kembu surname Chioma Gladys bụ nwodo ha ọgbakịrị ka bụ elebe gịnị na-eme ọnụ bụ Paul wọnọdị anọhụ be agbamano fine ọnụ. So, ma hemezoku bet hemezoku bono nekela ọgbakọ Ikwerre no IDA ebe mere m recognize bono keno mbụ nwa Ikwerre no mbụ nwa ọgbakịrị be mene mmeke na amahịa keno nwụrụ hemeji nke nneteri eri Ikwerre nke nnokwu ọka n'okwu ọnụ Ikwerre ọzọ na fọm kpọma n'ọnụ keno azabịa aka okwu ọnụ bekee ọhụrụ the change begins with you. Can I say surprise keno azị ha maka ka ikwu ọnụ Ikwerre aka n'okwu ọnụ bekee ndị aka akademik na-eme ọ bụ na bụ program nke abụ program elerukwuo izo hụ ha eme ha taa betlem abịarụ program Ikwerre bet ememe ha igwụsị leme ha menji igwu amahụ ya gụnụ hostel n'osisi kabaka ma meze nwere maka na zegwu mmemme him identify as nwa Ikwerre so ya mere meyoro so this car bụ the proper way as a dress as a neyi eyeyi ma as egwule program mgbasịrị Ikwerre ya mere meyiru maybe or ka man kosa ele Ikwerre ye make ka so na kanaye ke ahugagula ha obule gbasoro ha Ikwerre ayire ile nwa Ikwerre pụrụ nkịtị ha le nwa Ikwerre jeru George le nwa Ikwerre iru iwo kolu le nwa Ikwerre tosomo kontonsi le nwa Ikwerre kaze eme bana amaru ke na bi Ikwerre ihe na Ikwerre hugo anu biko anu kwe Ikwerre hutas na rehwa Jesus
Akwano baka obria atugosupu one day Honorable Oliver Wolubom no chikota okadum subawoga biko amekuleka aya kwasnaeri asupu ya the last session the authors snippets selected authors made the last event for today. Honorable Oliver Wolubom no tell rebisi cause kwa koma Obiaze, because I to recognize the presence of Associate Professor Chris Akani of the National Executive of Ikwerre Worldwide. Because people saw her. Just see. I want to female youths for SIM and good governance. You can be say, oh, and that, I want more. Oh, how do you? Okay. One day, NS Marukini, Yabo, idea. Diaspora representative Oshadi Boke Baya goes Raime, one day NS Marikini, Ikwerre na Liboke, because Bekusai, because
Iwhuruohna o shadi buke bia usoro anyị amega. Bekusa biko. Biko a na-emekwa ka I also have the following authors, no yeah snippets on their books. Barrister Iwhuruohna, Owotobe Weneka, Ernest Merekini, and all mass sign on Ndaikuka Balamakwa Iwhuruohna, Eze Chris Akani, Yaga Kusnai Mati, no only one tab over Chokwa Iwhuruohna, no Ndaiku ID Project, I will Shmason, Honorable Sir, wrap up.
One make cow. One make cow. Did you make cow? Because came black agada. Ogunga loga basari habo Iwhuruohna obizoneta. Yo blai she. Bayala bidon school. Bidon so ogun bidon. Otu ha bejiga no school otu okukondi ibo inde soma jiga. Kaka okeke taro oshod tempo danala. Maga Chineke kwe hojo. Mgbe ogwule mi kwonu ka ozi kwonu ya bụ mgbe mkpu nwatakịrị ọ bịara ọrụ igbo ikpo nwee ticha bụ isoma bịa bụ ikpo n'ma chọrọ ọgwụ ikọ n'isoma mmanụ papa adụ mbra ka problem mekwaghị ga bidoro amajọrọ ọka na ebiko ọkụga ha mega aiwajiga aka kwanye n'alali ya ụmụntakịrị anyị ka ikọ n'Iwhuruohna Obla can blow quick, or by Wako can be calling on her. Who was the go bring this thing for me. Go bring that thing for me. Yeah, can I be a come? From Takemo. Popomla no Bebe, Akulempano, Onion with Hayoka and Haze. I won't miss room Takraiko, Iwhuruohna. Otu Hajina La Fatambono, Ala Law Oro. Abidono Kunuroma, over one decade and John Bacariculum. You could never. Otabale, abale to so duko mabale lenele, onu bala megwa. Abidon bra, bagambre oblati ana ya no boso ya. But hamaka kande ba no zi ejiwa ya na ibeji no so se to no embroidery clock isunu na abale. Ije be bakobere. Iti ana mbri bi no ma se no no. But ke megai egwan sa wuga hepe ondo haize. Murmo boy the president. Ide ka anu Puri churches in Ohio, Anglican Church, Catholic Church, no church in Ohio where nobody can know how to go. Brazil Ambra, none of the Anglican Church before Bewanga, causes no came here. Causes in the book can blast Mam Habasar Buki, Bokuroke. All I look here, Bokuani, Mbrama causes him a king, Macaba, Burako, Konobuki. This is no Bishop Burus, Bishop on Anglican churches on. And the river state and Iwhuruohna, but in Iwhuruohna, I will boss a shine hayakao. So, I can I because I am with an iron. Owe Boku Aquani Iwhuruohna. Akula, Ihina, Acholokwa, Acharo Melel and Debere, Ikona Hulim, I share him, Mano Carsoroma, no more right. Degas and Libeke, who I call you Kare. Room when I take as a libeke, Rumuba, who I call Iwhuruohna Kare. In Bogan by calling her. But I thought you can beke my one can wear Mamicon Beke, Icono Bleba, or my helmet, it's an Canabambra, Iberi Hoka, resisting her. Oh, I become an issue, or by what make my head down, or Blarum Takre, and make out.
I want to give, I'm coming back, because the last set of people were writers. Yeah, can I about their books? Our in our midst, Ernest Merekini, Oshadi Bukebaya. No, Ernest Merekini, Obiawa, Oshadi Bukebaya. Can I think about Obi writer? Or can I? Eze Chris Akani, Obiamasi, Barrister Iwhuruohna, Otobo Weneka. Kodo Ichenwo, because I'm bad as rally. Become walk with the car. Because one day NS American try to take it the first shot. That Barrister Iwhuruohna, what to one car. NS Rangam.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm sorry. My Ikwerre language is very poor. I was in Yowulempa for many years. No, Malegam, but Yowulempa since 1980, and even before then, Islam Nigeria through those times. My interest was Okobasaro accountancy, because Amamoga, Nanette Beke, I'm a chartered accountant. One or two books, but the best in publication at the moment. Basaro, management of businesses, how to run good accounting procedures for businesses. But my books is based in England, but of course, I'll try to adapt it to the Nigerian context. But there is a context in Nigeria. But that's all I'm doing. I'm an accountant. I'm William P. since 1980. And this has been more almost every month, because we want them to pay now or should they pay?
Uncle Snakano. You want to shock even as a writer, over the Akari, Iwhuruohna. But it's your Iwhuruohna. Can't come, you know, Gameka. Pilom. Biko pụta ịchọ nwa bụ onye kwugo ọka nọ Igekai o sign ndị kwugo ọka na Igekai Family Love 97.7 FM no Ikwerre Meka
Meka ndeza Meka rishi Meka iji hụna m yo elori mma moku gangam mba Umoke niji. Hamana azu pemeto aka sakam. Aka no ma ku moku beke gam. Hamoku buni no madam hor. Habia go zomo. Niri mabo pemeze sekwa biko adne yanu rikebo mbro naiku karo hono. Abeji na gbakwata ikwo n'Iwhuruohna. Abeji na gbakwata nde chiele bụ nde eze. Ọ kara aka nọ n'ehụ a. Ọkini bụ asịsị gbakwara ehụ a nde eze sizo ọnụ isi. Ọ bụ sọ bụ ha lele nde beni ka ma ọgba ka ọba. Yezo okpotokpo na ahụ bụ n'Iwhuruohna. Amechara nwata. Azum aidipa maọbụna Iwhuruohna bido mbara na masa establish it, initiate it, ọgbọ masị ha. Aka m na okwukwa bụ biko nye m iche ehi ma nye okpotokpo ma nye mate ma okobadị ma nwụọ mate ma arụmikoro aka na ya bụ okorobịa agbọghọbịa ya ma nke ya ma Unikoro youth anishe ọdịnyekwu ihuru Igbo na ngili Ikwerre ya bụ ọgwa ikwo n'Iwhuruohna. Thank you. No mention ka mbụ mmekwu ọrụ otu ọka kpọ esutokpo ihe ọnwụdọ kọrọ na ya bụ Iwhuruohna. Isọmabịala bịa ka ị na-enye m nsogbu ka Iwhuruohna bụ ike siga m anya ịkwasịga m ihe bịakwu inye gaga nkọka ehi azụ mbla misoma mbụ Iwhuruohna jeli Iwhuruohna mmeka nshi anyị mụ ya ekwo n'ọha anze sọrọ bụ m ọkụkọ mụ ikwa n'Iwhuruohna ọ nyeta ihu ameka
barrister Oroma o nwere otu gotu sinai no mesa asukura m okwu na ọka ndaiku Venerable Professor Wellington Oziez no Chim Otobo Weneka for the chairman of Ikwerre research team and by package level studies in Ikwerre history volume 3. So almost have to get this special reference to tonight some things about the book. On that note, I have to get back to see Dr. Paul Wowo, President IFU. So focus in the room. Okay. Eunanda manda kuzi hao
nwoke variable professor Wotogbe Weneka boss ndaiku nda no barrister wara ma Wotogbe ka kana ngezi na akwụkwọ ka amekwule ndaiku oduraize akwụkwọ ka azị ihe ọzụrụ dịta iwa ije ọzọ ọ kana ihe si na agwa akwụkwọ ji bịa meka
Iwhuruohna nwere m ele nwere mma anyị agbarụtụnụ I will stand on the existing protocols. Aha mbụ Barrister Oroma Chimenum Fortune Wotogbe. Nda m gụrụ m Chimenum, nne m gụrụ m Oroma. Onwe ihe manụ aha bekee yi m bụ Fortune because from childhood ọ bụ ka aha Ikwerre aha nne m na nda m gụrụ m Hemezaga. So ọkụkọ sisi ha ọba ome gbarụba ọkụkọ meburu bịa ọ bụ nne m nụ nda m gbarụba so nze m ha kịta ogeshi anụ ọkụkọ ka so that an goro ya an zụrụ ya gwa ya ọ ya bananụ iru nkela makala m the host bụ Ikwerre Development Association IDA and nnekele maka ọgbakọ abagara nye IDA igugu maba mechi this event bụ ya buburu anyị ha today. I'm so proud menu ọmụ nwene m nụ nne m n'aka nanụ mene m anyị gara anyị this privilege ọbịa ha begesi Iwhuruohna ọkụkọ nne m nụ nda m gbarụ. And so the first book n'ihi ele heka this our program all over the world especially online biko anyị agbarụ nụ ma nkuma họba no ọnụ bekee because heka bụ ọkụkọ ama anyị chọrọ ma ele Iwhuruohna zụ ọkụkọ ka anyị chọrọ ma kọrọ ma nye ọbụla ma elebo ele Iwhuruohna zụ maka ọkụkọ wa. The first book bụ 100 Years of Anglican Church in Omagwaland 1914 to 2014. Nye gbara ọkụkọ ka bụ nne m Mrs. Gloria Ego Wotogbe Weneka. Ọbịaliga ha taa because ahụzila so nze m ha gopiana ọkụkọ awa. Ọkụkọ keberere bụ Themes in Comparative Religion. Nye gbara ọkụkọ ka bụ nda m ke nwụrụ ọnwụ na akụ niile Bible Professor Wellington Wotogbe Weneka. Iwhuruohna magwa ya. Ọkụkọ ka atọ bụ Owumini Beliefs and Practices of Aquatic Spirits among the Ikwerre people of Niger Delta. Nye gba makọrọ ọkụkọ wa bụ nda m Professor Wellington Onyezinuchim Wotogbe Weneka. Ọkụkọ ka anọ bụ Anglicanism revised with a chapter on GAFCON. Nye gba makọrọ ọkụkọ wa bụ nda m Professor Wellington Wotogbe Weneka. Ọkụkọ ka ise bụ Contemporary Themes in Religious Discourse. Ọkụkọ wa elegbara bụ an editorial team. Papa mbụ the editor-in-chief. Then other editors bụ NJ Bule, Buwurba Buko, Omu Iwhuruohna apart from one person. NJ Bule, J.U. Odili, B.O. Onu, and OPC Wariboko. And then the last book, an essay or essays, Ele Department Papam, Baru in his honor, Nge Omeru retire, Naru University of Port Harcourt, Naru Uniport. So here's in Okukoka about my father's academic life, his contributions, his write-ups, all of his works. So Ichola Marunye Papambo, Ngozinduma, even after death, Iyamaro everything Basiro Papambwa, Nime Okukoka, Biko, Nnariasano, and Gorokukowa, Anzora, Anzuta, Omuwenano, Elenyano, Ikunibano, all these books put together. Amen.
Ameka. Because as a Chris Kani Abiokuna Oka, Dr. Weje, we add to the list of the register for today. I was now because at the last session of this event. Oziela, our Yeri, our master Henkesi, Kobo, Muya Ikwerre, Okon the Kibere registry. The Garoko Bakita, apart from the Kiberaman share online, history and people of Elele, the cradle of Ikwerre race. On your Iwhuruohna, you also see when I copy, you also meet I also need the author, if you have more copies. Our Reverend Maxwell and Abarakam, Ellen Oziri, Mecha, dual identity. Yom Yahe, Omarahen Rima, Omagwa, history and culture. Professor Adele Iwhuruohna, NTA, Akalaka, family, father of Iwhuruohna, a historical classic, Bible, or no Iwhuruohna. Iwhuruohna, a study of Ikwerre history. Testament destroying the roots of human sex. Iwhuruohna belief, history, language, and numerical counting. Our Rebisi, natives of Port Harcourt. Our history of Rundele. Our Ndekebere, Ndeke Somitri Kukrem Brosham. The chairman, the chief unveiler, the special guest of honor, Yelidai, Mandering Akwakuleri, as on Rokwase, Oto Yerant, Abeme the closing activities. As well as a Chris Akami, Obe writer, Okanai, Oka, Nota, Nababa Chakupo, Obi Yokupo Mase, Okana Oka.
Did you make out? The tongue and make out. A lady, I'm a Kuzila Kagida. But I don't better say. Oh, one of the book America. Oh, yes, a piano walker. Okay, it's not me go to Gama. And ye Gigi, Ramaha. But I should have go. Iwhuruohna, African Bemugai, Oba Bemugai. Ikembro, Prosotote to Kabaroko, Ikwerre History and Culture, Volumes 1 and 2. Sodom Bra. Iwhuruohna, Balamag, Doko. Keka Lechibara, Lechamadibar, or Badele Winapa. Ozuyanguna. Tadakagano, Iwhuruohna Boko, Iwhuruohna Guoka, or Badele Pawuna. Anyway, don't I can provide it and about Susan. But no long talk on Iwhuruohna Bra. Ozia Nabia Otomane Kano, or Kukozala Iwhuruohna. Is in Uganda, Yana killing. Abokuoka Boka Kugambra. Africa, Kanu Blabokuma Konuboke, Blabokuma French, Blabokuma Spanish, Doblakeroku, Kiswahili, Nobo Ikonikes in Africa. Or Kinmeso, Yezi West Africa, Kualoka, Pura Jigaji, Yezi Sierra Leone, Obono. Is Anubaga or Benwelish. Yes, it Guinea. Pia Mapuga Para, Abono, Nino Kuga, Spanish. Pacano, I am way Kono Kai. A Medas Lapa Noku. Yes, no Ivory Coast, Yono. Yes, no Ghana, Yono. Oka Megambra. So, Hela Mega, also like you can Africa Mega, always Macaran. Bronyo Blachana, Oceana Tuque, about the Tiana. Gobno Nacarano. Obviously, Tugaha, be wara wara ba gwa no hiduga nínú ndo ha ka okorobịa mgbe na-elele ya ara ndele abolutala nwere Iwhuruohna nukuzo ju pembo ọbụla akwụkwọ Iwhuruohna zi ha na ọbụla be mega gbara Iwhuruohna zepi otu ọbụla be mega gbara Iwhuruohna ze egwezila na IDA egwe bịa ọgbakọ Ikwerre egwezimazila na otu ka egwe arụmbra egwezi branch meeting ịkanebe Iwhuruohna ọdọbụrụ sukwe mega ha maka nye ọbụla isara ịbịabịa dazi zeketema onye na-emeri ya egweziba nga ndị ọpa branch belele meeting baba ha mega bedbeziba ọbọma ọba iwe ma wụwatụrụ chekana ogbobugama ogorora maka ya danyere ogoro anyụma anụsị obobodo ya ele ameka
Meka Deria aya kwasneri kobo Deri shikama sibasi ma kano ondai Dr. NTA Dr. Soka stage 1 minute to address all World Book Day. So he contribute them in the literary contribution or the literature of Iwhuruohna. So they make a 1 minute remark in honor of Book Day. Dr. NTA the Ikwerre language.
Ochoha Kesato Bekulemi, President General Nchugo Obaki Ikwerre Bekulemi, former President Mogwele Beke Nchiro IDA Bekumakolemi, Eledus Nourishing Gadam Bekulemano, Iwhuruohna Karama Meka, Nkahanu Meka, Anu Meka, Eleri Sagri. Osura babu chimaya kenu biarum heka no nyerisiele IDA kurumiku mabia Lazaro hazikonu ebete duni betre mavu bekwe moku hoble osuma kala babu chimaya obono zeme nyeboku Francis Bacon 16th century English philosopher reading maketh a man, writing an exact man, speaking a ready man. Kenu ogun okuko mebadu borobadu vuroke abayaba me ibrunyeke mbrobla ine mehe inoku oka heke minoku bugonu oku ayoku me me mbrobla ni jike abia biawam onowu le mini wara ebuna okuko lawru ka megwu aru ha taa odogwu anu hu na ma bobeto otu sinavu heri speaking Ikwerre book 1 biko onye hụrụ agụ ya nụma ya koziri bụ Ikwerre ọnụ Iwhuruohna ọgbanjeghị ike na ọgbanjeghị ọkani ọgbanjeghị ike n'ọnụ bekee the first complete Ikwerre language Bible, the first omekolele meneme kabo ziri ọgbanjeghị ọkani na ọgbanjeghị ike n'otu mkpụkpụ kobo kambia rishi nwe gbasoro Bible ka rishi abụnụ agbara no standard Ikwerre Professor K. Williamson Kanai no aba standard Ikwerre oku standard Ikwerre no bụ hela wuru hebere gine mara ya otu n'ọnụ bekee the form that is generally understood ikula zunurebisi dunomerelu nyi hụrụ hara ọhịa inokwu nke ọzọrị kebla wuru but the form that is distinctive for Ikwerre as opposed to Igbo. Kenu standard Ikwerre yigwaso n'Igbo. Gobenu konozo ni huru habereresi. Ya huru Ikwerre yigwaso n'Igbo. Ya ha gini gba Bible ka inu anokueka odoku bado monoku no moku waso mobi petre mavu odoku bado bana ba he onu Iwhuruohna hebo na babo n'Igbo Obaki Ikwerre yisuru standard Ikwerre no studies in Ikwerre history and culture kenubele na barole ma le aprosoke Williamson ka kini kemeru ma elezi ha ehun elezi ha ana agba he ana agba no onu Igbo na yigo na yishishi onu maka nnokwu okwu maka nna baba atụrụ ma ihe ke nkwụsịrị ụmụ anyị kwesịrị ọgwụ Baịbụl ka mara ya kebụl ahụrụ bụ na University of Port Harcourt ahụrụ benwe Department of Ikwerre specialization on Ikwerre language anaka no Obaki Ikwerre rezi aka n'ube 1975 to 2025 years AD no Ikwerre bụ ele nwele na kwesịrị nwe department or a section kebe na-esi Ikwerre lali Iwhuruohna Otaken Rivers State University winning the Faculty of Humanities arabazani mbokwukwo mapalizo oburu le department oburu section on Ikwerre language because nihinu Ikwerre bụ ọnụ mba nkebe ke federal government marụ zizo na 1987 Nezi ha bụ Baka Ikwerre Akalaka father of Ebeye Ọba Iwhuruohna Ikwerre a historical classic ọ gara ha mabara ọkwa ka bụ nụ banla ureli Iwhuruohna professors nze mokpobere nwa kanu nani hobele otu nuri mebe kanu hani hobele bonoku mgbasuru Ikwerre origin n'ọnụ bekee not tentative obia conclusive and authentic kebrere ka na bahe gbasuru history origin of Ikwerre nye zero archives n'ọkwodo ozi ha ntukwele mkpọhụrụele ele gbaka ele karubuka nkwesịrị Kaduna anyị Ikwerre garu zizo n'elu Ikwerre ke mbe settlement you ogwane manti nkuku ngwa abụbi maya ndị Nkalaman Mekao Dika Ikwerre ahadulem kanu bruma baba ya gwo ha no agbagaru ntụwara mabaya ha na kanu ọbụna ha ezekwe emume ọbụn gọọmenti na-eme na ya na-aza egboro aka igbekwata makawa ọbịa ahụle emelele aga ntụwara ma na-abụ oburu Ikwerre choke yi na ya aka Nkalaman Mekao hambo teruso ya monoku choke gozi ayo anumeka
Deria.
iwe nwere aka ọma na-echa iwe anyị na-akpịrị iwe Ikwerre
to the last lap of this program. On that note, I want to welcome, hand over the microphone to the special guest who will tell us something. He will lead us through the books, the book stands, and will come and take the closing formalities. After that, it will be an hour. I want to hand over the microphone to the special guest of honor, who happens to be a fellow of Nigerian Institution of Surveyors, or Ikwerre, a foremost and a primus in the surveying profession and the pride of IDA. In the person of Surveyor J.W. Amade Kalamekau. Over to you, sir.
I think I should come down there. Ikwerre Mekao. Ikwerre Mekao. Neriama. Because permit me to stand on existing protocol because of time. I have 4 points. I have 4 points. Don't go away without these 4 points. Don't go away without these 4 points. Mine is to give a goodwill message to IDA. IDA is now 48 years. Since 1978 to 2025, what have they achieved? IDA will achieve Kini. Obaki Ikwerre, the umbrella body, people said they were eating big fish and odogron. Loi loi. IDA started, they said they were taking salad and cream, ice cream. But today, IDA has shown no Babu, a worthy son of Obako. IDA is now a worthy son of Obako because 3 successions have been taken up by IDA members, starting from Emeritus Professor S.C. Achidewu, down to Professor Iwhuruohna, down to Eze Barrister G.W. Onekwa, PhD, JP. So we are now taking over and succeeding Obako and Mekao. Success without a successor is a failure, because Obako has succeeded and they're having people to succeed them, so it is now a good success. So on the basis of that, IDA, don't relax, continue, so that we will continue the existence of Obako and Iwhuruohna as a body. Number two, IDA, people saw it, Ikwerre people, as people with 7 months mentality. People saw Ikwerre as people with 7 months mentality. Plant yam, 7 months in harvest. Plant cassava, 7 months in harvest. Plant cocoyam or plantain, 7 months in harvest. But Ikwerre has changed, IDA has changed the narrative. IDA is now seen 70 years, 700 years and above. When IDA started, Ikwerre has no governor. Ikwerre has no VC. Ikwerre has only 1 professor, GOM Tase. But today, Ikwerre has produced 3 governors, over 4 or 5 vice chancellors, and over 200 professors, and so many professionals, men and women, engineers, surveyors, and everything. Therefore, IDA has succeeded. IDA continue because their policy is development and progress of Ikwerre land. Third one, Ikwerre people used to see themselves as Ikwerre. That's what they see themselves. If they have activity that will involve over 100,000, we can't do it because they will say Ikwerre. But today, we are doing a program running millions. We are doing program running millions, and it has been executed successfully. So Ikwerre is doing well. So Ikwerre and Mekao. Finally, also allow with a biased mind whether concerning this Ikwerre language. My research in the Bible, Genesis 11, 1 to 9, Genesis 11, 1 to 9, shows that after the destruction of the first world by flood, generations of Noah, his generations decided to build a city and a tower, Tower of Babel. And as they were going, because they had only one language, one speech, God in his infinite knowledge and wisdom decided to put in more languages. God poured in more languages. On that same day, on that very day, God poured down Ikwerre language. So Ikwerre language is not a subset, it's not a part, but a total language given by God Almighty. Finally, faith without work is dead. Work without faith is dead. What we are doing requires support, moral and financial. Let no person go here without dropping something for IDA, because we must continue this good work of establishing Ikwerre on the globe. Establishing Ikwerre on the globe, it requires support, moral and financial support. Starting by myself, by God's grace, the chairman of this occasion, with the president of IDA, with the organizing chairman, he have a package from me. I don't have to announce it, but he can trust what I will do. He put and make then so at this point we will go to examine the books, inspect the books. Please, I'm appealing to the chairman, the PG, the Ochoha 8, and all the members of the high table and others. Let us go and examine and inspect the books so that we know what we are talking about all the time. And Mecca, let's start from this side. Yeah. Let's go and examine the books, the papers, so that we will be donating willingly, not grudgingly, towards the development and improvement of Ikwerre land. Let us see.
Please, we'll join the special guest of honor to inspect the books. Then we'll come back to our seat for the closing ceremony. Let's join the special guest to see the books. Here in the archives, we have studies in Ikwerre history. We have the customary laws of Rundele. We have the emergence of Christianity in Ikwerre land. We have the Port Harcourt question, manifestation of political vacuum. We have Iwhuruohna, a study of Ikwerre history by Chris Sakani and Innocent Mejim. We have the root of immoral sex, history in our hands, contemporary religious discourse, 100 years of the Anglican Church, studies in Ikwerre history, Testament Ike, the truth you must know, refutal of Chief J. Sirim, and rejoinder without prejudice, African traditional religion and Christianity, 21st century, exploits of a king ordained by God by S. Iwhuruohna, Rebisi natives of Port Harcourt, history and development by Ato Kalabo. We have Rhapsody Ikwerre, translation of Ikwerre Rhapsody of Realities, The Voyage, history of history by Anthony Owoji, history of Rundele is here, Obiwal Memorial Lecture Series, Elechi a Legend, Counting in Ikwerre, Anglicanism, themes on contemporary religion, Ikeni, Ikwerre Mecca News, Apo Onomastics in Ikwerre land. Then Owumini and other books. Ikwerre calendar. We'll take you to the book stand to look at things, then we'll come back. Please let's join him to the book stand behind. Yes.
Who want to buy?
So as we go to the book stand, you can also make your purchases.
Why here we recognize Sir Chief Honorable A.O. Ikwerre. Okay. We are going to the book stands. You can make your purchases now. There are some books.
I will come back with this 5,000. This 5,000.
At this point, you can get your books. Okay, we'll come back. All right, let's go for closing. Yeah. Please, the books for the archives should not be moved away. Let's clap for our special guests. We are back to close. The books for the archives will not be taken away. We are coming back now.
Everyone had me count. Hello. Everyone had me count. Please, special announcement. Hello. Ikechi. My account number. Adazorela. Ayọkwa ụgwọ ka itụrụ enye gai. Ka ị na-eme donate ka na-enwe na-eme donate nwana anyị gai waka ọzọ ya wa na. Then ka itụrụ ma ekwe ụgwọ ịgbadahụ ya aze gwere wa enye gai. Kpọmkwem ha na-eme ha ka bụ ma anwe ihe library na Rumayas nọmụ ha gbasara Iwhuruohna. Library kasị abụọ. Otu si na Obirikwere ha, ọzọ na azụ ha. Kebere ya zụnụ Rumeprikom. Na Ikwerre nwegwu shopping complex. Ha mere ajiri mee abụka. Ke yazi ha yazi ndụ elezin University of Port Harcourt. Babela ha bọgwụ ha botrogu beze. Kekesino Rumeprikom. Yazi ndụ yega elezin River State University. Yano elezin Ignes Ajuru University of Education. Kezino Rumolumene. Ke ha na Savo University Lauro. University of Port Harcourt. Yano National Open Universities in Ozoba. Oge na-ezenuruhu aze isi ya nụ helebekenu suku soft copy. N'ihi na ọwa na agbanwe ngan gọbụla. Helebekenu sukwa library without word, e-library. So ayo soro masa ọwa na agbanwe. Ka ọ bụ kpọmkwem ha idea na-emebu ka bụ mbọm tumbọm. Ọgbakọ Ikwerre nụ idea na-egbu ya ha nụ ọbụla gbara nọ n'Ikwerre anyị lekwa ha. So onye nye ọbụla tụrụ okwu ha nụ ha ọbụla gbasiri Ikwerre ọya ọgwụ ha nụ ha ka a na-eme. Keke abịa na okwele m ka abịa tintom. Agwanụ m Iwhuruohna mo sukuru le amaga sukuru ndaiku Tony enya ọgbala ha gbasiri Iwhuruohna. Ọzọ bụ ọma na a na-eme ha nụ aghara sukwu. Onwe ha otu nwe na bazagida kezi nye shokpo British Ales. Begwe akwụkwọba ọya kwụsịla. Nganga ọbụla nye ọbụla makwụkwa Aisha no library lauro otu yazinu ha otu yazi ha no Ikwerre shopping complex. So biko ankad no Iwhuruohna nyenye ọbụla gwara ọkwọ ogwere abịa. Biko wirize ọzanyela nyetoro ọzọ akwụkwọ ọzọ nyenye ọbụla gbara akwụkwọ once again bịa ma anyị jikwukwata amanụ ka ị na-eresi ya eresi ya na ka ị na-enye guy. But at least for the very first time we have libraries now containing Ikwerre books. So it's a plus. So it's a plus. Thank you.
Before we hand over to the PG to make his last this, but Dr. Weje, please, we want to give special certificate of participation to some authors. Then PG will just close us. Yes.
Ameka. Please, the first person who has on the list here bụ Surveyor J.W. Amadi Omekwele Ikwerre the 13th. Ozila. Nyebere bụ King Barrister G.W. Onuekwa PhD. Okay, that was here.
Please, for participation, all of them. Dr. C.D. Chukwu.
Dr. C.D. Chukwu. Professor Anthony Adele.
Professor Anthony Adele. Just Barrister Joseph Eleriba Ibane. Maxwell Onda.
Dr. Helen.
Dr. Helen Oziri Mecha. Dr. Helen Mecha.
Umodumaya Women. Dr. N.T. Enya.
Dr. N.T. Enya.
Dr. N.T. Enya. Prince Ezevunuchi. Barrister Oroma Wotogbe. Barrister Oroma Wotogbe. Weneka.
Because others, the one for associates, journalists from their own, all are coming. We're waiting for people to conclude. Ameka, we give to the President General now.
Five years. Before
Biko Nderia Akwasna. Welcome. Please, other authors, Ayakanano Hayime, Nderia Sigano. Iwhuruohna Journalist Forum, Mike Iwezo. Mike Iwezo. Okay, they are asking for copies. How would they get? Mike Iwezo. I've told them to call you so you get some copies. Okay. Because there are many people that did not come with their books. That's why they are taking numbers. When did you see it? Sorry, I will copy. Okay. So that we'll do some. Okay. And I'll put it in the archive. Then I'll put your number. Okay. When they send the account number, they say you have to. I'll just do a matter. You want to spend me with money? They are honoring us. Okay, there you go. I'm not having why you want to make it money. I like money, but I don't love it. So the closing remarks, America. Yes. Did I give you the number too? Which number? Yeah, no, send it by text. I won't forward. Please, we want to take the closing remarks and closing prayers. We want to call on the
process of submitting the offer. For who? Through who? Anyone submit, they should pass through me 3 copies. I'll confirm. I'll give you 3 copies. I'll go. 3 copies. 3 copies. It's also in the list. That's good. Please, closing remarks. I think on those books, go to that bag, see the bundle, carry the bundle and display for sale. Pay for archive. Take some.
Hello, hello.
Sọ́múláyà o, sọ́múláyà o, sọ́múláyà lolololololo, nìran kò bóbú lè má, yéyí kò bóbú lè má wé, wédé kò bóbú lè má wé, ìmànú kò tún gàrú dúdú gbónú bọ́sàs ké mọ́tò níkù, jẹ́yì ọ̀hún asúrù ha o. Ẹran ma jókòó ké nọ lúrúmọ́, wélélé ìwé. Màkà kẹrán mẹ́rán 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 máa o, wélélé ìwé. Àyàwó. Ìjẹ́kẹ̀ bádùwé, ìjẹ́kẹ̀ bádùwé, ìmànà búrí ìjẹ́kẹ̀ Chineke. Azụbụrụ ikpewe, ikere bụrụ jeyi, ọbadama na mma o. Bọbụrụ achara kọwa, bọbụrụ achara kọwa, gogowo mene mma o. Wene bado, bọbụrụ achara kọwa, bọbụrụ achara kọwa, gogowo mene mma o. Ẹran ma jokuke n'ọdụrụ mo, welele iwe, aya owe. Maka kẹran ma jokuke n'ọlụrụ meyọ, wene bado je iwe, aya owe. Ihe aka nwe, ihe aka nyesi hele, ihe aka nyesi n'aka Jehova, ekere n'igwe kekweze yo. Ihe aka nwe, ihe aka nyesi hele, ihe aka nyesi n'aka Jehova, ekere n'igwe kekweze yo. Toku ke mirapala n'ikwisisi, nyewe mirapala n'ikwisisi. Toku ke mirapala ko n'ikwisisi, okisisi mina foroma peso gomaya. Nyewe mirapala n'ikwisisi, toku ke mirapala n'ikwisisi, nyewe mirapala n'ikwisisi. Okisisi mina foroma peso gomaya. Anu miwe, anu miwe, akaka anu miwe, oje. Akaka anu miwe, anu miwe, maka anu mi foroma jeyi, oje. Okebe ligwe kekwese ligwe, owu n'eligwe gbakwasa Chinele. Obira palakọ n'ikwisisi, ọgisisi mi na kpọrọma, lezogbo maya, anụ miwe. Anụ miwe, akaka anụ miwe je, oje. Akaka anụ miwe, isisi mkpọrọ maje. Akaka anụ mi oje, wele mmadụ je. ọbọchị bụrụ ma jei kuke zinuru ya merụ sarema zinuru ime jokuke ozunema imanye nwa nwaka nọ ma jei matụmogbu ọbọchị bụrụ ma jei kuke zinuru ya merụ sarema zinuru ime jokuke ozunema wene n'ozunema owe oje 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 iwe wene n'ozunema owe oje 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 wene me oje iwe imanye nwa kano majei matumogu ọbọchị bọrọ majei kuke zinuru ya komeru sarema zinuru imejokuge ozunema ịmakonye nwa kano n'ụwọ jei ya tumogu ọbọchị bọrọ majei kuke